Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Guideline. This is my first episode of this channel podcast kind of thing that I'm going to be doing for a while now. I was sitting here the past few days trying to think of how I would get this started, what was going to be the most pertinent thing that I could talk to you guys about that is something that all of us hairdressers and barbers can all apply to what we're going through now. So what I ended up deciding on is to share a story with you guys from some of my own experience that kind of helped me get through tough situations where I was broke and out of work and all that sort of stuff. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So it shouldn't be too crazy long of a video, but if you like it, leave some comments down below, share it with your friends, and please help me grow the channel a little bit more. So we're going to flash back a little bit over 2 years ago. I was working at a salon and kind of had, like, my career had kind of taken a little bit of a downfall. I had quit my education job that I was doing at the time. I had not really been putting in the effort that I should have been behind the chair, and consequently I was pretty broke. And when I say pretty broke, I mean I was saving up to be broke. And then consequently I lost that job. So now I'm, in this scenario, I'm out of work, and I had already been through so many different salons at the time that I didn't know if I was going to get another job. And a lot of the offers that I had at the time would have taken me away from this area, which at the time, given the certain life circumstances, was just not in the cards for me to be able to move. So I knew I had to make something work around here. So I finally decided, after interviewing for a lot of things outside of the hair industry or outside of at least the salon part of it and being behind the chair, I finally decided to take one last shot at a place and see if they would hire me. And it was the barbershop that I'm at now, McFly's. And I got very lucky, and I'm very, very fortunate that Jason took a chance on me and was willing to give me the opportunity to grow my business there and grow my career there and kind of have a fresh start, which I desperately needed. But to give you guys an idea of more of the details of that, of how broke I really was and how much that was a really struggling time for me. By the time I started there, I was so far behind on bills and just all the necessities out of life that I was sitting in this very apartment where I'm currently filming this, freaking out. My NIPSCO had been turned off. My car got repossessed, I think, about like a month after I started at the barbershop. And luckily, me and my then girlfriend had 2 cars, so we at least still had one. And we couldn't even afford food. To the point where we literally, her parents were a lifesaver. We ate dinner there pretty much every night. It was a rare treat where if I had a really good day at work, since again I was just starting out on that side of the industry, if I had a really good day, it would be a huge treat for us to even do something as simple as go get McDonald's. And it's like, hey, let's just go get a couple McDoubles, because that was holy hell, we must have had a great day today. But then you flash forward to the end of that first year at the shop, and by the end of that first year, since I was lucky enough that the brand name there had such a big reputation, so it was easy for me to market myself there. It was easy for me to grow because the shop also gets a lot of walk-ins. So there was a lot of different things that catered to me being able to grow a lot faster than I had in the past. So by the end of that first year, I was actually making roughly $50,000-$60,000 a year. So I'm not going to pretend that after the first year I was this magical 6-figure hairdresser, 6-figure barber, because I wasn't. And most people aren't in that time frame nowadays. There's so many different shops, there's so many different salons that you really don't get that 6 months to 1 year overnight success story anymore. You might notice the last 6 months to a year of that success story, but there was probably a good, realistically, 2 or 3 years that went into it before that. But I was more than happy with 50, 60 grand a year. That was more than enough to help catch things up, start life over, and be able to support myself again, finally, and to be satisfied with my career. And there was so many different things that went into that at that moment. Was just telling myself over and over and over again when I first started that job. Like, hey, dude, like, this is your last chance. I kind of gave myself an ultimatum and said, if this doesn't work out, since this is such a big shift of going from working in salon all the time to now going into a barbershop full time, if this doesn't work out, you're done cutting hair. And I told myself that, like, you're just done with this industry because obviously you're not cut out for it. And that kind of triggered a memory in my brain really fast when I told myself that, of when I had an old boss tell me that and give me a very similar discussion, or a very similar piece of advice. He had told me, like, the same day that he was more or less like firing me / I was quitting. Like, it was kind of a weird discussion, but sparing the details of that part of it, he looked at me at one point and said, like, hey man, like, you might want to look into other ways of making money. And like that, like, if any of you have been told that, like, that is a knife through the heart. Like, all of us are so passionate about what we do, that hurts really bad to hear somebody say, like, dude, you're not cut out for this. And granted, that wasn't without reason. At the time, I sucked at doing hair. I had no natural talent. My work ethic wasn't that great because it was more important to me that I was, going out with my friends and having a good time, because I was like 24, 25 years old at the time. And I lacked a lot of discipline. Until I worked with my eventual mentor a couple years later, who did a really good job of snapping me out of that with some really strict, awesome training. So I kept that old discussion in my head as I went through this when I started at the shop, and just kind of told myself, like, okay, like, now I got to prove myself wrong. Like, now I got to be kind of pissed off at myself a little bit and say, okay, like, no, you are cut out for doing this. You have reasons for this. You've done a lot of cool things with your career. There's no reason for you to walk out on this. If you fail, it's your own damn fault. So pick yourself up and let's get going. And again, I got very lucky, and it worked. And now I am beyond happy where I am in my career. Even with all the circumstances going on now, I could not be happier with where I am. Because I know what's waiting for me now after this when I get back. And I feel like that's waiting for a lot of people when we get back. Now, the reason why I tell this story and why I felt that this was something that was important to discuss with you guys wasn't really like to sit here, like, toot my own horn and be like, oh, like, look at what I did. Like, that part of it's more or less irrelevant. But I wanted to share the story with you guys because I thought it could serve as a good reminder of what situations like what we're all going through now, what they can take away from you and what it can't take away from you. So yes, there's a lot that this could end up taking away from us. This could take away for some of us, the cars that we drive, the shops that we own, the chairs that we work in, if our salon has to downsize or if it has to go under. There's a lot of things, like material things, that we could lose out of this. However, there's also things that this can't take away from us, which I think is the more important part for us to focus on right now, to keep ourselves mentally strong and healthy and ready to go and ready to fight as soon as we get back. And the two main things to me that it can't take away from you is it can't take away your talent for doing hair, and it can't take away your passion for doing it. So if you truly love this, if you truly crave doing hair, which from what I'm seeing online right now is so many of you are just itching to do hair. You're grabbing mannequins, you're watching a ton of education, you're doing whatever you can to stay connected to this craft that you love so much, and no one's going to be able to take that away from you. So yes, things might look extremely different when we get back. Things might be rather difficult when we get back, but that passion and that talent is what's going to pull all of us through it. That and the fact that you see it right now, you see so many people in the industry coming together to help each other out, and to me that's like one of the coolest things that has come out of this experience. What I have noticed is the playing field more or less, like in a weird way, being kind of level. So like a lot of times in the past, like I feel like a lot of us who were like just behind the chair, or like we worked in small towns, whatever, like that didn't make us necessarily a huge name. There was kind of like this weird like tier system. So you kind of had like, like us like working in shops, or like people working in like distribution stores like Cosmoprof or Salon Centric, and then you had like the people getting into education, so you had like the educators, the platform artists, the celebrity stylists, and you kind of had this hierarchy. And I feel like now one of the weirdly nice things that came out of this is the playing field's kind of level, because we're all out of work. There's some of us that like obviously are able to still do some of their work. For those people that have gone digital, and we're already doing digital education. But even those guys are, even they are hurting, even they are affected by this. No one has it easy right now. We're all going through an extremely tough time. But we're all coming together, and I think we're all going to get through it together, and I think that is amazing. So I know you guys can do this. I absolutely, with all my heart, I believe in you guys. And you guys are going to crush it the second we get back. And I can't wait to see on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok, everything that you guys are taking advantage of right now. To see you guys signing up for all these different social medias that you might not even have used before. I cannot wait to follow all you guys and see how much you guys are just killing it every day behind the chair. And I'm excited to get back too, man. Like it's going to be a lot of fun when we get back. It's going to be weird. It's going to be different. Each state might all of a sudden start updating new restrictions and new guidelines on how we sanitize, or how many people are allowed in the shop at once, and so there might be a lot of differences, but it is going to be amazing. We're going to do awesome, and I can't wait for us all to get there and start kicking some ass again. So thank you guys very much for tuning in, and I hope that story kind of helps you guys out a little bit. And I am going to work on creating some more content for you guys so I can keep this channel nice and full, and hopefully give you guys another outlet of something to watch for education, and hopefully at least a little bit of inspiration during this lockdown, since some of us are going to be in it for quite a while. But keep your guys' heads up, and I'll see you guys soon. Cheers.